But when you guys were just talking about building, my mind automatically went to the basic level, which is relationship. And this is why, for me as a Black woman, it's like, no, I will not choose another race of men over Black men. I will.
So, do you see yourself as part of, as far as people that look like us, you melanated people? Do you see us as one race? And with that, if you do or don't, do you desire to build with others that look like us?
Oh,
So that was basically the question. Yeah.
um, whew. Okay, so the first one, do I see myself as part of the Black race? Pretty much.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know what I can add to that. That's just a simple yes for me.
Okay.
The other question though, I would say in an ideal world, right? World, I would say, oh, I'm open to build with everyone, right? But because we're not in an ideal world, and somebody's set on keeping people that look like me in a certain place, then my first priority becomes people that look like me. That's it. Because the reality is there is an entity that is has always, well, has been, let me just put it that way. And this is not a victim thing. This is a reality. This is people's actual experience. And so I'm not here to um minimize people's individual experiences as melanated people, not just in this country, particularly in this country, but also globally. So I'm not going to minimize that and say that oh, that's it's a victim thing. It's not. It's these are people, this is people's reality, right? In an ideal world, I would say sure, I'm open to building with everyone, but we're not in an ideal world, and I am very, 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 very aware of that. And so this is why I choose to talk to my children the way I do. This is why I choose to educate them the way I do, because I understand that we're not in an ideal world, and it would be delusional for me to allow them to enter into the world, right, not equipped, right, to deal with a world that has no love for people that look like them, right? So yes, ideally, I would say I'll be with anyone, but we're not, because we're not in an ideal. No, I'm for my people first, just like everybody else
Right.
is for their people first.
Can I ask you a
So,
question? Because I hear the word building,
Mm-hmm.
building with building. Like, what does that look like? What are those? Because I hear people use that term a lot, but then I'm like, well, when you say building within your community, what does that look like in your
So that
Mm.
is something that I did want to get to.
Okay.
But I guess to kind of touch on it a
Yeah.
little bit, um hmm it requires that's a question there.
Mm.
And I think those are questions that I have a lot with others. But it's about, for me, building ha- is ha- has to happen on a small scale first
Mm.
before we can do it on a bigger scale. So it's coming together with people who are like-minded. And just like Hanifa said, it's not going to be with everyone. It's going to be with like-minded people who have the same goals as you, and working on ourselves spiritually, mentally, economically. And then when we are at a decent shape, then
Mm.
we can build on a larger scale. But as
Mm.
us in the Black community or Black race, however you want to look at it, we know that we're kind of not at a level to even compete on a global scale. So that's one reason for this conversation, because if we're going to actually build, we would need to build with others and other
Mm.
countries and other,
Mm.
other another continent, because other people have kind of something to fall back on. They have like another country to kind of fall back on. So,
Yeah.
you know, when Chinese people come over here, they have China. You know, even if they don't necessarily, even if they say that they're here to grow or build, they still have another, in essence, they have that for themselves, but we don't. Well, I'm going to say, as me being an African American, you know, we're and even, you know, I don't call myself an African American, but in the context of what I have to put on paperwork, you know, to call myself an African American, you know, it's kind of like, am I really African? You know, like I can't just go to Africa and just start going over there and building anything. But then also, as American, we don't have access to economic wealth or power. We don't have access to that. So we would have to start within our small communities first, and then kind of grow it on a larger scale. So that's kind of what I mean with building with like-minded people who have the same goal in mind. I would like for Hanifa to kind of touch on what she thinks about that.
It's, well, as you was responding to Kat, I thought about the most basic level. Like when we talk about building, as you were speaking, I'm like, yeah, even at the basic level. So if I'm going to say I am going to focus just like everyone else, I'm going to focus on people that look like me collectively, right? So I have to start with my own individual life. That means, and I know I'm probably going to step on some toes when I say this is basic for me. That means that when I decide to pick a mate, that mate is going to look like me, because my children needs to look like us, right? Because all of this is a part of building. Reproducing is a part of building. Having children is a part of building, right? And so when I decide to choose, like when you guys were just talking about building, my mind automatically went to the basic level, which is relationship. And this is why, for me as a Black woman, it's like, no, I will not choose another race of men over Black men. I will not, because for me, that means now that I am also helping build another community, while mine, or the people that look like me, is struggling. That's a no-brainer for me. It just is. So when we talk about building, I'm not even talking on the macro. What my aunt mentioned is the micro, which is the family unit, which is the nuclear family. So we could start there. So building for me there is choosing someone, not just that's the same skin color, right? But also the same mindset, that also wants to build towards the same vision, right? That's someone who aligns with where it is that you're trying to go, and you're able to align with where they're trying to go as well. So it has to be a mutual thing. It's not any old Black man, because let's be honest, all skin folk ain't all skin folk ain't kinfolk, right? And so I don't want to connect with someone who, I don't know, we're just not on the same wavelength. So building for me starts from the basic level, which is the nuclear family, right? And for me, that's working with a Black man.
Yeah, so that you definitely touched on something there. And I agree with that. I really don't even have anything to really add to that. You said it all, but I think we do have to start there. We have to start with self and who we are choosing and how we are choosing them, and teaching those things to our children as well, or to whomever we're close to, and teaching those values, because it's very important that that they have that same mindset as we do, because sometimes you get into situations where they're not even thinking, the person that you're choosing to be with, they're not necessarily thinking that way. They're not thinking about building. So we have to really be mindful of who we are connecting with and building with, because just like Hanifa said, you're helping someone else, you're helping another group of people, and that is true. And just like she said, we might step on some toes here, but you know, it shows that if when someone goes and they are with especially if that mother, a lot of times you choose whatever your mother is. So you're around that mother's friends, whoever the mother is, that's kind of your circle and who your circle of influence usually is. And then whatever she buys, like most of the time when I'm the one who goes grocery shopping, right? So a lot of times when I shop, I try to support Black businesses. But if that person is a whole another race or another culture, they're not necessarily trying to support Black businesses, you know. So it's very we have to be very strategic about what we're doing in our community. So